What's up? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Hope everybody is having a fantastic week. Busy week as the Bears get ready for the Packers at Lambeau Field this Sunday. We got a lot of Bears Packers talk today, injury updates, some key matchups I want to get into. We'll take your questions and a whole lot more. So lock it in here on a Thursday. Let us know where you guys are tuning in. Give you guys some shout outs here. Cullen, T-minus 3 days from maybe the game of the year in the NFC, so it's gonna be a big one on Sunday.
First of two victories against the Packers. It's gonna be glorious. Make sure you're tuned in. Listen. It's gonna be a great game. Obviously, Harry, the stat that we mentioned on the morning episode here on Bears Now, where this is the first time I believe since 2001 is what you said that the Bears and the Packers have both been at least 5 games above 500 going against each other. And it's going to be one that's going to not only determine big things for the NFC North playoff picture, but also the NFC playoff picture as a whole as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time they've played this late in the season, and both have been very good in a while. So that's exciting. Obviously, the 2010 NFC Championship game that the Packers won, Green Bay went 10-6 that year, so technically that would not apply, but it's exciting. It's fun. We get to do it again in 2 weeks as well, 2.5 weeks. So it's gonna be very interesting. And this first one is, not a house money game for the Bears. It's still very critical, but I do think the pressure's more on Green Bay because they then go to Denver next week. The Bears come home to face Cleveland. So if you were to somehow win this game and lock in, beat the Browns, I mean, that's 50-50 at best probably, the Packers going to Denver and win. So right. You could potentially kind of get a 2-game swing here over the next couple of weeks. But obviously it all starts on Sunday, so we'll see what happens here. The Real Good Kids in Hoover, Alabama. We got Matt in Cedar Park. My guy Gary Ross. What's up, Gary? Decker, FGB for life. We got One Shot saying Brookfield, Wisconsin. Zachary and Joliet. Who else we got in here? We got Baby Snipe in Lansing, Michigan.
One Shot, Brookfield. We got from Chase from Illinois, King Chase. What up, dude? Naperville from Bear with Theme. Shout out to you, Sarasota, Florida from Official. Shout out to all you guys in the chat. And also, you know what time it is.
It's FGB week. Come on.
Hit the FGBs down below. Shout out to my guy Z Ganji in Missouri.
Ziganji. Go check out our new FGB gear, too. We can flash that real quick. Get the FGBs in the chat. We'll get the link in the chat for you guys as well. We got new FGB gear. Chatsports.com/FGB gets you to just the FGB collection. But we got T-shirts. We got hoodies. Chatsports.com/FGB shirt. Chatsports.com/FGB hoodie. Real cool stuff here. We're upping our merch game a little bit here at Bears Now, so hopefully I'm going to get my hands on some of this soon as well. Got to sell a few first, which shout out to the folks who have been buying some already. Perfect holiday gift. You'll for sure get it by that second matchup if you order soon, so go ahead and check it out, chatsports.com/FGB. Keep those FGB chants in the chat like our guy Owen, Brandon, John. We got Moose, Ariel, Chris, Taiwan, Matt, Jarrett, everybody else. Shout out to the chat. All right, Tony Williams, appreciate the super chat. I know this is random, but who's the best O-lineman you've ever seen play? Also, if MVP was an honest award, who would the NFL MVP be, lineman included? Well,
shout out to love the big fellas.
I love the big fellas, but I don't know if there's ever been a scenario. Maybe like back in the day, you could say an offensive lineman would deserve an MVP, but MVP this year, it's probably Stafford or Drake May right now. You could argue either or. Stafford's played against more tougher teams than the Patriots have. I would probably lean Stafford given his age. Also, there is some nostalgia for me with him. Like, that's the only thing missing on his resume is an MVP. So, like, if he were to get that, it would kind of complete what's been a wild career, just kind of buried.
Hall of Famer.
Buried. Yeah, I think he's already there,
I mean, like, no doubt, like.
First ballot, yeah.
Just lock it in. And to me, like, that's Drake May's got a really good case. I think this is honestly one of the closer races that we're going to potentially have. Obviously, we still got a month of the season left, but
if Drake May beats Buffalo again and outplays Josh Allen a second time, it's going to be a strong case. Stafford's obviously going to be in some high leverage games here. They got Detroit next week. They got the Seattle rematch. Yep. Obviously, if he's able to sweep Seattle, go up and win on the road, that would obviously be big. So I would lean Stafford right now, but those two have certainly separated, I would say, at this point in time. As far as the best lineman I've ever seen play, I'm
going to give credit or shout out to our guy JOD, Joe Thomas. I think he's
up there. I was really young, so it's not like I was breaking down offensive line play or anything, but Larry Allen with the Cowboys when I was younger, he's an all-timer. Who else would I say? I mean, I think in this era, Trent Williams is up there. I mean, he's a special player. Joe Thomas, what a waste of a career. I hate to put it that way, but it's just like a 15-year franchise left tackle and never played in a playoff game. Yeah. Pretty brutal. But
Jonathan Ogden.
Jonathan Ogden's a good one.
It's a good call out. I'll give a shout out to Seattle's own Walter Jones, really good left tackle back in the early to mid 2000s. Jumbo Covert.
Yep.
Joe Thuney for the Bears.
He's like Tooney's like the most boring elite offensive lineman of all time.
Orlando Pace from LaClora.
Yeah. Those are all good ones. ATG, you and Forverts with the top 2 channels on Wrapped. Appreciate that, ATG. Yeah, I've gotten a few tweets from you guys that you got. YouTube's got this new feature where it kind of shows which shows you watched most this year. And shout out to everybody that watched us this year, whether you watched 1 second or 300 episodes. One guy sent me something. He's watched 300-something videos from us this year. So pretty cool. We appreciate the support. Hopefully that means we're making quality content for you guys. That's 100%. The goal. That is the goal. Alex, cold game, short passes. Is this a Swift or Monungai each catch for 100 game? I don't think each catch for 100 game, but you could see some screens, some dump-offs to the backs. That's certainly possible. We'll get to Rome Odunze in a minute. He did not practice. If he's out, that takes one of your big play weapons out of this game. We'll see. Also going up against this pass rush, you would think getting the ball out of Caleb's hands quick would be part of the game plan.
Told you, or I'll tell you this, Alex, if Kyle Monungai and DeAndre Swift both have 100 yards receiving, I'm telling you this right now, you get 20 raffle tickets for the raffle on Friday. If that happens, because that would be unbelievable. Second thing I just wanted to say, I'm not sure if this is true or not. Soldier Bear says he's watched 500 videos. Let us know down below in the chat how many videos you've watched of Bears Now this year.
If you know.
I mean, obviously it's the YouTube rap thing.
If we popped up on your thing, it'll tell you how many videos. I mean, we put out. I don't know how many videos we've put out in the last 365. I mean, we put out two videos just about every single day. There's probably, I don't know, a handful of days this year we didn't put out 2. I know for a fact we didn't miss a single day.
Yep.
We put out at least 1 every single day this year. So probably looking at, 365 times 2 is 730. I would guess we're probably around 725 to 750 videos this year. Now, I don't know how that number gets calculated with shorts. In that data, is YouTube counting those? It's like you watched 300 videos this year. 60 of those might have been shorts. Who knows? Live shows as well. So if you had shorts and live shows, I bet we're got probably over 1,000 this year, right?
Yeah.
Close.
We've really, we've both been really trying to push in terms of the amount of content we've been trying to give you guys, and 1,000 might be right around where we've kind of put out.
Close.
In terms of, lives.
By the time we get to New Year's Eve, I bet it's in the ballpark because we've probably averaged – how many shorts a week do you think we've averaged just from January to now? Probably 4 to 5 average. It's certainly gone up recently, but maybe 5 average for the full year.
Yeah, because since football season started, we've really tried to –
at least do 1 a day.
Yeah, if not more. I don't know. It's up there in terms of the amount. Obviously, during the offseason, maybe not as many shorts.
Diego says 913 videos watched from me, top 0.2%. So that means we've made at least 913. So we might be over 1,000. Top 0.2%, Diego. We appreciate it.
Whopper says, I watched 594 of your videos this past year. I'm in the top 0.6.
Love that.
Love that. Mitchell says, I've watched 428, top 0.8. Let's go.
Love that.
Let's go, y'all.
Appreciate you guys.
Here, let's go to O'Geezer.
We're number 1, and it's not for draft pick with a coach.
Side gigging bachelorette parties. That's culture.
That's culture. Yeah, we'll listen. Bears are in a good spot. Appreciate it, O'Geezer. Alex Todd, if we get the silver trophy in February, are you and Cohen donning the Mike Ditka outfit? Dude, I don't even want to know what I'd be willing to do if the Bears won the Super Bowl. Like, for one, I got to find a way to get to Chicago for the parade. I got to figure that out. I'm putting that on the boss's radar if the Bears make the Super Bowl. Okay, you find me out, right? So that's one. Yeah, we're doing something. I honestly think, I'm not even joking, I think we would be live all night if they won the Super Bowl. We would have a second stream ready to go, just to pat, because you cap it 12 hours on an individual stream on YouTube.
Is it 12 or 24?
It's 12. We learned that the hard way with the Mitch stream. Remember, the file got corrupted.
I didn't know which
Were
one
you
it
here
was.
with that, with McDaniels? Had you started yet?
No, I was not here yet.
So we found out afterward that streams over 12 hours, the files get corrupted basically on YouTube, and they disappear. So he went live for 26 hours, and it doesn't exist on the internet. Now they still got the revenue from it, but that's
pretty crazy.
It's gone. Yeah.
That's I'll tell you this much, just in terms of this. Let's one game at a time here.
I know it's
one game at a time. We appreciate it, and listen, we could all have fun with it, but promise you this much: if it comes to that point, we will have something planned.
Oh, no question. We'll do it big. Tony, you say there's never been an instance O-line was best player in the NFL. No. Let me rephrase. The MVP. I've said there's never been an instance where an offensive lineman is the MVP in the NFL.
Trent Williams in his prime, you could make. I don't have all the years just in front of me.
Yeah.
You could make the case.
I think this year's a great example. Myles Garrett has been the best player in the NFL this year. He's a defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to win MVP because even though he's the best player, his team's won 3 games. Most valuable, you have to contribute to winning. You have to. That's why it's silly. It's become just a QB award, but they impact the game more than any other position.
Not even close.
That's why they win them.
Yeah.
That's why it would take a historic season from even a receiver or a running back at this point to win an MVP.
Right.
Yeah, CMC is a great point, and Tony, he should be in the discussion this year, and he hasn't even been that efficient running the ball, but he has carried the Niners offense.
Yep.
So I'm with you. They're 9-4, they're injured as hell, and CMC's been there every week, and he is just getting peppered with touches every single game, but he's not going to win it. So
with respect to CMC, I think there's Jonathan Taylor and JSN in terms of non-quarterback skill players.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have above CMC, but of course, to your point, best player is completely different from MVP, and you just outline the difference between the two. Me personally, if you're asking about the most valuable player this season, you have to give it to a quarterback just because of the value they bring to this position. But JSN and Jonathan Taylor, I know both of them kind of slowed down. JSN more this last week. Taylor kind of last couple weeks.
JSN set the receiving record and had, 17 touchdowns or something like that in a somewhat down year for quarterbacks, I could see that. If Jonathan Taylor rushed for 2,200 yards, I could see that. But the problem with skill guys winning it now is you have one not productive week.
Right.
It's just you have to be dominant basically every week to have a chance, which
100%.
is so difficult to do. Anthony, obviously I would love to win the 1 seed and our division, but let's just focus on at least making the playoffs. It's been the wild. Yeah, goal number 1 is make the playoffs at this point. That's still the first goal. Get
100%.
to the postseason. Get into the tournament. That's the first goal.
Yeah.
So
one step at a time, one game at a time. It's old cliche in football, but
goal number 1 right now is win Sunday.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
That's the hope. That's the goal. And then the next goal is beat the Browns. Decker, Harry, and Colin, you guys are both legends. Appreciate it. This channel and community has made a wild season that much more fun. It's FGB week. This free fandom is ready to explode when the Bears take down the Packers LFG. Well, very kind words. Thank you, Decker. You've been showing out recently, so appreciate you for hanging out. And, yeah, the feeling's mutual from us with all you guys. We recognize a lot of the same, I guess I can't say faces in all cases, but,
Profile pictures.
Commenters. I know you guys, a lot of you guys DM me. I still have to catch up on DMs from the last game. I got a lot going on in my life right now. I'm raising a 2-year-old. I'm packing up my house because we're moving houses. There's a lot going on. But, yeah, we feel the love. Hopefully we've created something fun here. And, this goes – like, you guys make the show, right? Like, we could be the greatest, like, commentators of all time, but if no one's watching, it doesn't matter. So we appreciate your love, your support, and this community has been fun to build. So –
Ben in the chat actually asked Harrison, how is PJ?
He's good. He's good. Plugging along. Getting that Santa list going soon. So holidays will be fun. Yeah, we'll be moving into our house like late next week. So we got to get Christmas set up over there quickly. Quickly.
Appreciate that.
Thank
Tony.
you, Zeke. Tony, change it to QB of the Year award, then not MVP. Yeah, look, I hear you. I also do think most years a quarterback is the MVP, even if, I still think we're kind of having a disconnect here, Tony. Like, I love offensive linemen. Like, Joe Thuney is incredible. He's not the league MVP. Trent Williams is incredible. He's not the league MVP.
Yes.
They might be the best player. Myles Garrett is the best player in the NFL this year. Do you think he should win MVP if the Browns go 4-13? Like, I don't.
Nope.
If honestly, I'm not even joking. If they were 7-5 right now, I would consider him because, like, he has been by far the best player, and he would be the primary reason that they're winning. But they're still not winning, right? So you can't be most valuable if you're picking, if you're not winning enough. For a year, like there were a ton of years Phillip Rivers put up crazy numbers, but they'd go like 7-9. It's not the MVP. Like, you got to win.
It's also like offensive lineman is so hard to actually truly determine the value of a singular offensive lineman.
It's hard to measure.
Yeah, because, more than any other position on the field, they are connected with the ones beside them. As a unit, they really have to. Joe Thuney is a great individual offensive lineman. If you stuck him in, the worst offensive lineman in the league, he's not doing as much. Even if you, played left tackle, for example, like a more important position on the offensive line, he's not overnight changing that whole group if the rest of them, can't block or anything. So
I do think he is one of those players that is kind of like a connector. Like I think him playing next to the 3 different left tackles this year has probably helped like bridge the gap of that position being the weakest compared to the other 4 guys. But yeah, it's the hardest position to measure, like how valuable they actually are.
Yeah, and he has been a helpful hand, but you know what also helps? Having Darnell Wright on the other side, right tackle.
That helps. Good scheme helps.
Yeah.
Austin, Harry, I'm nervous, but FGB and all love from SAC. The good news is, and listen, I want to win this game. If it's tight late, I'll have some nerves too. The good news is Green Bay does need this game more than the Bears. The Bears get their rematch. They get the Browns next week while the Packers go to Denver. So, this is more of an awesome opportunity. Like, if you could steal one in Green Bay and then you take care of business against the Browns, then really that home game against the Packers, Colin, is like hey, if we sweep you guys, the division's ours. Like, it's honestly, like, you win this game, there's a real scenario when you play Green Bay again, you're kind of like soft clinching the division. So, one step at a time, but I understand the nerves, but I don't think you should this shouldn't be like a seasons on the line game, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's a rare spot where the number 1 or the more higher ranked team in the NFC playoff picture actually has the least amount of pressure, given the circumstances that occur over the next 3 weeks that you've highlighted.
Yeah, just the way the schedule sets up, like Green Bay needs this one way more than the Bears do. Maybe not way more, but they do need it more.
Ben, you're absolutely correct. They should have swept Green Bay last year.
Colin predicted it, and Matt Eberflus freaked out and played for a longer field goal and got burned because they blocked it. Will Williams, love the show. Any chat sports Timberwolves? Can't say that's on the radar. But you never know in the future. We're a growing company.
We've got 8, I believe, NBA channels at the moment. And
I'll just say this without anything set in stone. Our immediate expansion plan is to have all 32 NFL teams. We're 7 channels away. We have 25 of 32. And then, honestly, some college football expansion, some Big Ten and SEC channels. So can't say the Timberwolves is close, but it wouldn't shock me if years down the road we have a Timberwolves channel. When I first started, we had like 3 channels total. So it's changed a lot. Zeke, where did you get that hoodie? So this isn't a hoodie, but my wife got this for me. Pretty cool looking pullover. I don't know where she got it. Might be like Etsy or TikTok shop. I'm not sure. I'll look into it. It's very cozy though. I like it.
Man's looking sharp. We got Colin. I recently just started watching your channel. I just wanted to say, let's beat the Packers and go Bears. Just take the North back. 24-23. Bears win.
That's close to what I have. I have 26-24. First of all, appreciate you. Glad to have you aboard. And, let's get this done, man. We're going to be having a lot of fun if they win this thing on Sunday. A lot of fun.
Tony, last one, but last year, Barkley should have won, not Josh Allen. We'll get that super on screen in a second.
Fair argument. I think last year there was a real debate to be had that Saquon could have won it. Also, Lamar probably should have won it over Josh. But since Lamar won it the year before and Josh hadn't won one, I think the voters kind of went the other way.
It's the equivalent of a makeup call. And
it's kind of some of the years LeBron didn't win MVP. It's like, Even when Jordan was in the league, Jordan should have won MVP every year for like a 9-year stretch. Outside of the minor league baseball years, we don't count those. We don't count those. He
just take a little
detour. All right, hit that like button if you are a diehard Bears fan. Let's keep this thing rolling as we got a lot of content to get into. So let's get more Bears fans in here. Hit the thumbs up icon. Here's what we got coming up. Today's news and injury updates, including a somewhat notable one for the Bears that I do want to get into. Coordinators also spoke today. We always react to those guys. We will take more questions, #Bears or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. We'll take a look at the Week 14 rooting guide for the Bears. Obviously, the focus is on Green Bay, but what are some other games to monitor this coming Sunday and Monday? And then Dane Brugler released his first mock draft. Who did he have the Bears taking? We react to that as well. My name is Harrison Graham. Happy Thursday. Let's go. I'm Harrison Graham. It's Coordinator Thursday at Hallis Halls. We heard from Declan Doyle, Dennis Allen, and Richard Hightower. We'll react to one comment each of them made, plus some Bears and Packers injury news. Want to dive into that as well as we kick things off here on Chicago Bears Now. We'll get to Dennis Allen's comments in a second, but it's directly related to Nahshon Wright winning NFC Defensive Player of the Month. He had 3 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery 2 fumble recoveries and 1 forced fumble in the month of November. I mean, think about it. This guy went from fighting for his career, fighting for a roster spot, having to plug in to start due to injuries, and now he's winning Defensive Player of the Month, not the week, the month. Pretty remarkable what he's been able to do in this defense. Dennis Allen showing praise too. He says he's been huge for us. He's a guy that's really had to step up in the absence of a couple of other guys, and he stepped up in a big way for us. He continues to find his way around the football and make plays. That's what this game is all about. We're really pleased with what we've seen from him. It's been awesome, man. He's gone from he's playing like a serviceable backup that occasionally makes plays to, he's playing like a serviceable starter. He's been a plus starter for weeks now. I mean, he's making plays. Yeah, he's going to give up some completions. You know, T. Higgins and A.J. Brown in one-on-one situations made some big-time catches. While those guys are making $28 and $35 million per year, Nahshon Wright's on a vet minimum contract. He leads the NFL in takeaways. I mean, it's a remarkable story. This guy did nothing in Dallas. He was on Minnesota's practice squad last year. Al Harris still believed in him and helped convince the Bears to bring this guy in on the offseason 90-man roster, and he's making game-changing plays seemingly every week. I mean, did he destroy the tush push? Did the Bears kill the tush push with Nahshon Wright turning the corner and ripping the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands? Only I can hope, because I can't stand that play. But regardless, that was an unreal play, and Dennis Allen said, yeah, that was Shawnee making a hell of a play. I can't be impressed enough with what this guy has done. I don't know what's going to happen long term. Are the Bears going to keep him? Is he going to go make some money elsewhere? He said today, wherever Al Harris is, he'd love to play under him forever. I could see Al Harris being at a DC somewhere next year, so wouldn't be shocked if Al Harris got a job and brought Nahshon Wright with him. But whatever happens in the future and whatever happens the rest of the season, what a value signing. It's got to be the best value signing of the year. Vet minimum deal, and he's played like a high-level starter for the majority of this season. So kudos to Poles, Dennis Allen, Al Harris, and obviously Nahshon Wright for playing his freaking ass off this season. Do you want the Bears to re-sign Nahshon Wright in the offseason? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I will be very curious to see what his market is, because this is such a unique situation. A guy who, let's face it, was a journeyman bust essentially before this year, but now he's had a great year. Does he get a huge deal? Wouldn't shock me. Free agency teams tend to overpay. All right, our Week 14 subscriber battle is heating up. Well, not for the Packers. We're burying their ass. Let's continue. I want to run the score up, 598 to 161. They're not catching up, but let's not rest on our laurels. I want to beat these guys by 1,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button, free and daily Bears content. We beat them off the field. Let's beat them on the field. FGB, subscribe today. All right, Declan Doyle talking about the passing game. That's been an emphasis this week for the Bears, as you know, it's just been slightly off, I would say, the last couple of weeks. And Declan Doyle kind of echoed some of Ben Johnson's sentiments when discussing some of the passing game issues as of late. Declan said this quote about Caleb Williams: "He continues to grow every week. I think he's doing a pretty good job of managing our offense and operating it the way we want him to operate it. We can continue to improve by finding completions more, but certainly you've seen him grow every single week." He later said the completion percentage does not tell the whole story and that it's a collective effort, talking about the receivers as well. Remember, Ben Johnson was saying, yeah, the receivers route specifics has not been on point at times, talking about the details and the routes, the steps, all that stuff. So I do think it's just been kind of slightly off. When they have done it right, maybe Caleb's missed the throw, or maybe Caleb's thrown it to a spot where he's expected them to be. It feels like it's a ticking time bomb, like they're about to hit some big ones, but as of late, they've just missed on some big opportunities. And yeah, obviously the completion percentage is not where anyone wants it. And, Caleb deserves a good portion of blame there. But I do think it's been a collective effort, because these coaches have been brutally honest all year. I don't see why they'd be lying about this now. I think everybody has a hand in this. The good news is they still continue to generate explosives. They are running the ball well, and Caleb's not putting the ball in harm's way. So he's managing the game well and operating the offense at a very, very high level in terms of pre and post snap. I think his eyes and his progression are very often in the right place. It's just about connecting on those plays. I feel like we're due for a breakout game soon in the passing game, because the process is sound. Going through the progressions has been sound. The next step is just hitting on more of those. And whether that's Caleb making better throws, the routes being where they're supposed to be, DJ Moore not slipping on a slick surface. There's been a variety of issues. So hopefully it all clicks. And this Sunday would be a great time for it to click. This Sunday, there are going to be some elements. So Richard Hightower talked about that today as, we entered December. Elements played a factor last week in Philadelphia. He said this, quote, "This time of year when it's all outside, we relish it. I thought our specialists did a really good job of gauging the elements in Philadelphia last Friday. That's something we take a lot of pride in." And don't forget, Week 18 Lambeau Field, Richard Hightower dialed up that fake punt return that Josh Blackwell brought to the house in a massive play that played a huge role in the Bears winning that game. And, you just do get the feeling that, like, whether it's Ben Johnson on the offense or Richard Hightower on special teams, I'll go ahead and make this prediction right now. They are dialing up a trick play at some point. Whether or not it works, we will see, but it's been a few weeks. They haven't really called one on special teams all year, so I wouldn't be shocked if they pulled one out, maybe a fake field goal, maybe Darnell Wright on the offense. I've been saying that for weeks. I think at some point they're going to throw him the ball, but the Bears, as it's gotten colder, have been really clean on special teams, and give Richard Hightower credit. Early into the middle part of the year, this group was struggling, and now they're fringe top 10 in PFF special teams rankings. So they've been playing some much cleaner football in the third phase. All right, more to discuss. Bears and Packers injury news coming up next, as there's one player in particular I want to spend some time on when it comes to Chicago. But we are sponsored by Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy sports app in North America is Prize Picks. The holiday season is here. It's the best time of year for sports. Ball games around the corner, basketball matchups, hockey games, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right. That is Prize Picks. I had the worst year ever in my season-long fantasy football league. I might be done with that. I'm on to daily fantasy with Prize Picks. New players, different sports all the time, crossing over sports in my lineups. I don't want to get stuck with my draft picks from 3 months ago. It's fun trying out different guys, just like I am for tonight's game. Got a little two-player lineup. Took less on David Montgomery's receiving yards. He just hasn't been as involved this year for the Lions, 12.5. I took the less there. And then I like George Pickens to score. He's been on a tear. That's a demon pick, more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. $20 lineup to win $80. That's what a Prize Picks lineup looks like. 2 to 6 players, take more or less on the stat projections. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. Okay, Rome Odunze. Is he in doubt to play on Sunday? Well, yesterday he was listed as a DNP, but it was an injury estimation. They didn't practice, so I was like, okay, I'm not going to overreact to that. Well, today he didn't practice either, as he's been dealing with this foot injury seemingly for weeks now. And, his production has dipped as the season has gone on. He's still having a good year, but him and Caleb have been a little bit off. Rome has missed on, I don't know, somewhere between, I would say, 6 and a dozen opportunities to make some tough catches throughout the year. Again, still having a good year, but, through that first month, felt like he was going to have a special year, and that has not been the case throughout the season. I do think this foot thing has played a role in that, and certainly Caleb has missed some throws. We saw an example of that last weekend at the front pylon where he didn't set his feet and he skipped the ball to Rome. But I do wonder if this is kind of like Swift earlier in the year. Remember, he was dealing with that groin, and finally they just had to sit him a week. Ben was like, yeah, eventually we're probably just going to have to sit him out. And since then, he's been healthy and fantastic. Does that happen with Rome here? I know it's a big game. You'd almost rather get him through this game and maybe do that next week against Cleveland and then have him ready for the second Packers game. So we'll see. Tomorrow will be interesting to see if he can do something. I'll guess right now that he's limited tomorrow and he's listed as questionable. That's going to be my guess for Odunze's status, but he did not practice today. Neither did Tyrique Stevenson. I'm guessing he's going to be held out another week, and the Bears can kind of afford to do that with Jalen Johnson back. You've got Nahshon Wright playing well, so you don't have to force Reek back if he's not ready. Ruben Hyppolite still with that shoulder, then Joe Thuney, just a rest day, so nothing to be worried about there. TJ Edwards was limited for a second straight day today. Obviously, again, yesterday was an estimation, so limited today. So, he hasn't played in over a month, so you're probably right on the fringe here of him being able to play on Sunday. If he can be full tomorrow, I like his chances to go. If he's limited, probably more of a game-time decision as he's been dealing with a broken bone in his hand and that hamstring injury. So it would be huge to get him back, man. I mean, you would think the Packers are going to try to run Josh Jacobs a lot in this game. Having TJ out there flying around, shooting the alley, and cleaning up the run game would be big. Hopefully that can be the case. Who do you guys think is more likely to play in this game? If you think it's Rome Odunze type RO, if you think it's TJ Edwards type TJ, they could both play, they could both miss, but who do you think is more likely to play? I'll still lean Rome, even though he hasn't practiced this week, but I'm hoping both can go because they're both key components to this team. Kyle Monungai was also limited. I feel good about his status. He's been dealing with kind of a minor issue the last couple weeks or early in the week. They've been kind of slow playing his practice reps, but I have no concerns about his status for Sunday. And in a game where it's going to be 10, 12, 13 degrees, wind chill in the single digits, this feels like a game Kyle Monungai could feast. So expect him to be out there. All these guys were full. Jalen Johnson, Noah Sewell. Sewell, it seems like he's back, so that's good. If TJ can't go, at least Noah can be out there. And then Dom Rob, Andrew Billings in the concussion protocol. I don't know if they have technically cleared, but they've been full all week. So it seems like their status is in a good position to play on Sunday. And, especially a guy like Andrew Billings mixing it up in the run game, you would like to have him out there. Let's shift to the Packers now. Javon Bullard, this is kind of an interesting one. He was limited yesterday, DNP today. More on him in a second. Savion Williams, Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt, who Matt LaFleur confirmed is going on season-ending IR. It just hasn't happened yet, so he's obviously out. I think Lucas Van Ness is likely out too. We'll see on Savion Williams. But Javon Bullard being limited yesterday and DNP today, that's trending in the wrong direction. I don't know if he fully retweaked something or if he just wasn't quite ready to practice, and they kind of realized that coming out of yesterday. So that is one to watch for sure if he is down in this game, as he's kind of a safety nickel hybrid for Green Bay. The following were limited today. Most of these guys were limited yesterday too. Josh Jacobs, I expect him to go. Matthew Golden, who didn't play last week, so we'll keep an eye on him. Dontavian Wicks, coming off his best game of the year, was limited today. Zach Tom, who played a week ago, I think he'll be fine. Carl Brooks, Nate Hobbs as well. And then these four players were also limited. They're in their practice windows. Marshawn Lloyd, Jaden Reed, Brenton Cox Jr., and Colin Oliver. Jaden Reed specifically, he's been in his practice window for about 2 weeks now. So we'll see if they activate him, but that would obviously be a big lift for that offense as he's capable of generating explosive plays. And then Jordan Love's technically been on the injury report this week with a left shoulder injury, but he's been a full participant. Both linebackers were elevated to full today, Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker, so I expect them to be out there. Then Barron Sorrell, the edge rusher, was a full participant as well. Predict the score, Bears-Packers. Who you got winning, and what is the final score going to be? Give us your thoughts down in the comment section below. My name is Harrison Graham. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Chicago Bears Now. If you made it to the end of the video, that makes you a real one. FGBs in the comments all week long, and hit that subscribe button. All right, we got T. Cotato?
Tecolo or Lolo?
Are those L's? Tecalolo? You guys deserve a day off Tuesday, Wednesday. We won't be mad. Hey, man. We love what we do. We grind, but we love what we do. But listen, Bears are in this magical season. We're not taking Tuesday and Wednesday off. You think Ben Johnson is taking days off? No.
Also, shout out to our newest Bears fan, Nunu, in the chat. He is the newest Bears fan that's joining us. Everyone give him a round of applause in the chat. Get the FGB going.
I completely missed Daphne here.
Oh, yeah.
I got to bring the boom for Daphne.
Yep. Just saw Daphne. We'll get that loaded up here. Bring the boom.
Shout out to All In Daphne
God.
for bringing the boom.
Ooh.
It's All In Daphne. Boom! We'll get you a helmet sticker for Sunday's game. Going to sound crazy, but Ben Johnson's name makes him perfect for the Bears. Ben Johnson, good old hard-working American name. Straight to the point, not that Stefanski or D'Amico are bad names, but they take too long to say. Ben Johnson, F it. Let's get the show on the road. Yeah, when he was born, his parents were like, thinking for 9 months. Yeah, we're gonna roll with Ben. So yeah, that's good stuff. Appreciate it. Get the booms in the chat for All in Daphne. You're a real one. You are a real one. All No Name. Law school exam the day after the game, depending on your coverage, to listen while I study. FGB 28-24 Bears. Luther Burden scores on a long screenplay to win. Could be a big Burden opportunity if Rome is out. You would go with probably DJ and Luther as your two primary receivers, probably a lot of 12 personnel with Olamide Zaccheaus sprinkled in as your number 3. So hopefully Rome can go, but if he can't, I think the Bears got enough if he can't. So we shall see.
This feels similar as we ask you guys to get in your #Bears or Super Chat to get in our mailbag we've got coming up. This feels similar to the game last week in Philadelphia where a big play or two could be the big determining factor. Obviously, we talked about the weather, how it's going to be very cold at Lambeau Field. And listen, it's not going to be the most ideal circumstances for, aerial offense between Jordan Love and Caleb Williams. But if they can hit maybe one or two big plays, that might be the difference in this one. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Jordan Love is a passer. Toyota-thon. He's feeling in right now. I know. But no, it's just I think similarly to Caleb to Cole Kmet. Obviously, that big play over the on the left side of the field that scored a touchdown. That could be a difference in terms of having a play like that go in the way of either Chicago or Green Bay. That could be in the difference of this one.
Yeah, no question about it. #Bears or Super Chat to get those questions answered on the show. Is TJ playing? He was limited today. I would still put him kind of in the questionable category, but we should have more clarity tomorrow when game designations come out. So we will have that covered per usual.
Just making sure. Let's get some more questions in. Adam, we can actually answer that super before we go into this mailbag, but let us know.
He said, I saw that I watched 549 Bears Now vids this year. Thank you guys for every one of them. Listen, I'm not going to act like we don't work hard because we do, but this is a very rewarding job. And, getting comments like this and hey, someone watched one of our videos, 500 of our videos this year. That's awesome to hear. So thank you guys so much. This has easily been the most fun season doing this. I mean, when you win, it's a lot more fun, obviously. But the growth this season, we've never had more growth. We've never had more support. Thank you for all your messages, both on the videos and to me personally on my socials. It means a lot. So appreciate it, Adam. That's 549, man. It's a lot of support, so we're very grateful. And you've been here a while, so kudos.
Yeah, kudos to you, Adam. Always been a real one in these chats, and to Harry's point, even behind the scenes too. We work hard, but it's for stuff like this, and we make content so that you guys can watch and enjoy, and hopefully be informed, entertained, and all that good stuff. And we appreciate stuff like this. So.
No question. #Bears or Super Chat. We'll get your questions on the show. Someone in the chat's asking, you fired up about the game tonight? Yeah, I mean, go Cowboys go, I'd say. I mean, weirdly, they feel more dangerous than Detroit right now, but I still think that's the play tonight. You want Dallas to win, and because Detroit losing tonight, they're not done from the playoff picture, but they're kind of out of the division race at that point. They would have 6 losses heading into Week 15. The Bears and Packers each only have 3. So it really kind of turns into a 2-team race if Detroit loses tonight. So we'll see. We'll see. That's going to be a fun game, though. Indoors in Detroit, I'm expecting a lot of points.
A lot of fireworks.
We have an over-under tonight. 55.5. That's a big number, man.
Big number.
That's Detroit's a slight favorite, so they're basically saying 29-26, 30-27, somewhere in there. I could see that.
Mark's asking, when did you guys start? Been here since January of 2020.
That's basically when we started. So if that's true, Mark, if you have that right, you've been here since the jump, basically. I think the first video was either late December 2019 or early January 2020. So if that's true, you've been here since the jump. So kudos. Kudos. The first full off season we did was heading into that 2020 year when it was the big debate was Mitch Trubisky or Nick Foles. How times have changed.
Big time.
How times have changed. Yeah, I've done 2 years of Matt Nagy, one playoff game that first year when they were not a playoff caliber team, but they backed in at 8-8. 3 years of Matt Eberflus, 2 years and change of Matt Eberflus, 5 games of Thomas Brown, and now 12 games of Ben Johnson. So these 12 games have been the best. I'll tell you that. So
pretty safe to make that proclamation.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, we'll get to your questions here. Then we got a lot more to go. So let's keep it rolling. Hashtag Bear Super Chat. Get your questions on the show. Coming up on Chicago Bears Now, we will get into your mailbag questions. So use hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions in. I did briefly just want to kind of dive into this Sunday's game a little bit more. Bears-Packers at Soldier Field. Just kind of rapid fire through some matchups I'm keeping an eye on in this ball game, as obviously the stakes are very, very high with first place in the division on the line. I think the one I'm keeping the closest eye on is the Bears' offensive tackles against the Packers' edge rushers. Obviously, Darnell Wright, Ozzie Trapillo against Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary. You know, they're going to move Micah around a lot. They'll line him up over guards in the center some too, but you would think Jeff Hafley is going to want to put a lot of pressure, especially on Ozzie Trapillo. So how Ben Johnson counteracts that is something I'm watching. Jalen Johnson versus Christian Watson. I don't know if Jalen's going to travel. I would guess probably not since he's just getting back. But I would expect to see that matchup a decent amount. Christian Watson's been really good since he's come back from his injury. Jalen just working his way back. So we'll see how many times we get that matchup and if they can eliminate the big play, which Watson is certainly capable of making. The chess matches between all the coordinators, I think these are 4 excellent play callers. Ben Johnson versus Jeff Hafley. I mentioned a minute ago, Hafley I think has done a really phenomenal job of not just lining Micah up at the edge spot. You know, he's bluffing, dropping him into coverage some. He's lining up inside sometimes. Obviously, he's playing the edge a lot and getting after the quarterback. But he's done a great job with these corners who coming into the year. We're not getting much notoriety. Their safeties have been great. So excited to see how Ben attacks him and how they kind of adjust throughout the game, each of these guys. And then obviously Matt LaFleur versus Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen has done a good job this year of kind of just piecing this together. He's dealt with injuries all year. No different Sunday. At minimum, Tremaine Edmonds is down. A couple other guys could be out as well. So, you know, that'll be a fun chess match. And then the elements, too. It's going to be cold. It's going to be freezing. It doesn't seem like it's going to rain/snow, but I would expect it to be windy. How the teams handle that, special teams will play a huge role against the elements. That's always fun to watch as well. All right, it is Packers Hate Week. Get the FGBs rolling in the chat. You guys know the drill. FGB all day, every day here on this show. All right, let's get to a mailbag now. We start with Jarek Scott. Appreciate the $2 super chat. Is keeping Wright in over Stevenson based on durability? Are you talking about like this season or long term? Because right now it's just Tyrique's banged up, so it's not even a discussion, but I would guess even if Stevenson was healthy, Nahshon Wright would be playing over him right now. Not because Stevenson hasn't played well. I think for the most part he has, but Nahshon Wright's taking the ball away more. And if all things are relatively equal, well, you take the guy who's creating the game-changing plays. So, you know, once Stevenson's fully healthy, assuming Jalen Johnson and Nahshon Wright are healthy as well, we'll see what Dennis Allen does. You know, I would guess Stevenson probably mixes in some, but Nahshon Wright's earned his playing time. I mean, it's pretty simple. All right, Ben Himmer, hashtag Bears. Why is Jalen Reeves-Maybin not playing? He played last week. They elevated him off the practice squad. We'll see if they do so this week. They can do that 2 more times. And then if they want him to to play more on game day, they would have to put him on the 53-man roster. I would guess if he gets elevated That probably means TJ is out again. If not, TJ's probably in a good position to play. Noah Sewell's expected to be back this week as well, so all those things certainly could play a factor. All right, guys, it is FGB week. We also have a second FGB week coming up, so why not launch some new FGB merch? We have the shirt, chatsports.com/FGB shirt. Good looking design right there. Then the hoodie looks fantastic. I got to be honest. I can't wait to get mine in the mail. Chatsports.com/FGB hoodie. If you just go to chatsports.com/FGB, it'll get you to like the FGB collection page with these two items available. Click and shop today. Holidays are here. Perfect gift for yourself, your Bears buddies, kids, dads, brothers, sisters, etc. These shirts and hoodies can go on males or females. Doesn't matter. I can't wait to rock this gear, and hopefully you guys will as well. Chatsports.com/FGB, or if you want to go specifically to the shirt or the hoodie, chatsports.com/FGB shirt, chatsports.com/FGB hoodie. All right, Captain CB, who truly deserves to go to the Pro Bowl this year? From a Bears standpoint, I think a guy who for sure should go is Kevin Byard. I think Darnell Wright has a pretty good argument. Joe Thuney, Drew Dahlman have great arguments. Honestly, every offensive lineman outside of left tackle have arguments. I think Nahshon Wright has a pretty good case, to be honest. He's been fantastic. Had Tremaine Edmonds not gone on IR, I think he would have been a candidate, but he's probably just going to have missed too much time now. Rome is slowed down too much. He's not going to make it. DJ, the receiving weapons have all done some good things, but it's kind of been spread out a lot. If DeAndre Swift goes on a nuclear finish, could he make a case? With Monungai getting a lot of touches, probably not. So probably those guys I mentioned, but I'll put it this way. If I had one vote or two votes, I would say Kevin Byard and probably Joe Thuney would be my top two votes. But then after that, Nahshon Wright, Darnell Wright, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman, I think they all deserve big consideration. All right, Rick Herrera, do you think we missed out on not signing Jadeveon Clowney? A little bit, honestly. He's been good with Dallas, dude. I said it at the time. I was like, he's not going to cost a ton, and he's going to be productive. This year, I'll just pull up his numbers real quick, and this is going into the Thursday night game, so we'll see what he does. He's got 4 sacks, and he's really just a rotation guy. Let's see how he's graded out per PFF. And by the way, 4 sacks will be tied for second on this team. That's probably more of a Bears problem, but 72 PFF grade, 77.5 pass rush grade, 62 against the run. His pressure win rate is like 17% pass rush win rate. He's been good, man. He's not a guy, he's a year-to-year player at this point, but he's still productive. So I'm not going to act like if they lose in the playoffs or something like that, well, if they had Jadeveon Clowney, but, would he be better than Dominique Robinson? I think Dom Rob's been okay, but I'd rather have Clowney out there. I'll put it like that. Subscribe to the channel if you want Bears coverage all year long. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We got you guys covered here on the channel. Every single day we do these live mailbags every Monday, Thursday. We answer your questions on game days as well. So hit that sub button. Let's rock and roll. All right, hockey fan. What's the biggest shift you've seen in the Bears' offensive identity this season, and how much of that is due to coaching versus personnel? Oh, I think the vast majority of it. I would say a big reason is the coaching. They're just so much more organized. Their play designs just make so much sense. It's Ben Johnson is an excellent play designer. He's an excellent play caller. He's an excellent play sequencer. And what that means is he's thinking ahead, right? He's like, all right, I'm going to hit the defense with this in this 3 or 4 play chunk, and then we're going to come back to this later in the game, and they're going to think X is coming, and we're going to go to Y. He's just really good at understanding the short and the long term of a game as a play caller. Don't get me wrong, personnel, the offensive line has been awesome. Caleb Williams has improved. These running backs have played well. Everyone has a hand in it, but if you added these offensive linemen and Shane Waldron was still calling your plays, you wouldn't be a top 10 offense. You just wouldn't. So Ben's been fantastic. These position coaches have been awesome. it's hard to measure, but I think we have to give Declan Doyle a lot of credit. He's doing a lot of the heavy lifting during the week, studying these opposing teams' defenses and, figuring out their weaknesses and where to attack. So, yeah, I think I think it's a combination, but Ben Johnson's the engine. I think we all know that. All right, Decker. Jeremiah Love is probably not in the Bears' plans. What about Price from Notre Dame, day 2 pick? I'm a big Jadarian Price guy. Feels like he might be the number 2 back in this draft after Jeremiah Smith. So, second round, Dane Brugler had him as a top 50 guy on his top 50 big board. So I doubt he sneaks into round 1, but, if the Bears are picking 53rd in the second round or something like that and he's there, maybe. It'll be interesting because the way Swift and Monangai have played together, Swift is under contract, obviously Monangai is. To me, if you're drafting a running back on day 2, you plan on playing him as a rookie. So are you pivoting off Swift? I'm not reducing Kyle Monangai's role moving forward. So things change quickly. The ways DeAndre Swift has played, if he finishes strong, I'm more than comfortable going with those 2 guys. Then if you want to take a guy like on day 3, like 5th, 6th round, upgrade over Roschon Johnson for your third back, maybe he elevates to your number 2 role, in 2027 or something like that. That seems like a more likely path right now. But yeah, I mean, it's so nice because the way Swift has played and obviously Monangai's emergence, it's given the Bears some flexibility this offseason. Coming into this last offseason, I think they really did want to draft a running back early, but they get Monangai in the 7th. Swift has played well. It's like, kind of feels like we have our 1-2 punch for 2026. So see how the rest of the year goes, but I think they're in a good spot at running back right now. Predict the score, Bears-Packers. Who you got? What is the final score going to be? I got Bears 26-24. What say you? Few more here. Elijah, appreciate the super chat. Tyreek Hill tweeted Caleb Williams. Thoughts on Tyreek in this offseason? Offense, offseason, trade, or signing? It wouldn't be a trade. He's almost guaranteed to get cut by Miami, just given his contract, the injury, etc. I'll say this. I'd be surprised, but the one caveat is, and listen, I know everybody thinks I'm the anti-DJ Moore guy. I'm a big DJ guy. Walter Payton Man of the Year. I think he's had a great attitude this year, all that stuff. If they pivot off DJ, again, I'm not saying they will or should, but if they do, what's Tyreek Hill going to cost on the open market coming off this injury? Could you get him for like $10 million? I mean, if it's something like that, I'm very interested. Now, you would only do it if one of your top 3 wide receiver positions opens up, right? But, man, Tyreek Hill in a Ben Johnson offense, even if it's 85% of peak Tyreek Hill, that's pretty fun to think about, especially if he doesn't even have to be your top guy. Dr. Shrimp, do you think Stevenson or Wright come back in 2026? If so, for how much? Well, Stevenson's under contract. He's got his 4th year next year, so he'll be back, barring a trade, which I guess you could extend Nahshon Wright and trade Tyreek. I guess I can't completely rule that out, but I'd be surprised. But if they want Nahshon Wright back, maybe that is something they'd consider, unless they just want to have a lot of depth at outside corner, which maybe they do after this year with all the injuries. I'm very curious to see if Nahshon Wright continues to play like this through December. What is he getting on the open market? Like I said a month ago, is he like a $6-7 million per year guy? Is he a $10 to $12 million per year guy now? Like, how many years is it? Is it like a short-term contract? I don't know, but man, he's been a revelation. So I think the way all these guys finish the year is going to impact how the Bears approach this. All right, guys, appreciate all the questions. Really good stuff today. If you have more, you know where to find me, at HGramNFL, Instagram, Twitter. I will catch up on DMs this weekend. Follow me over there and bear down. All right, Tony.
You said it, by the way.
I know.
Through the show.
I know.
Tony says commit right now to shave the beard if they lose.
Yeah, done. That's the only reason I haven't shaved. I literally did I not say this in the office today?
Can't confirm.
I've kind of wanted to shave for like 2 weeks, but I'm like, if I shave and they lose, listen, when you watch as much losing as I have with the Bears, like I'm not trying to change anything up. So I will shave after the next game they lose. Hopefully they never lose again, and then I'll just shave after the season. But
You want to make it a joint pact? Because I'm not shaving for North Texas, but I could also do it for the Bears.
Okay,
You want to do that?
sure. If they lose, next time they lose, I'll shave the next day or before the next game. And I want to shave, but I don't want them to lose. So hopefully, how about this? They've clinched everything before Week 18. Rest starters, we can lose that game. It's fine. Then we can shave before the playoffs. How about that? I'd be down.
Sounds good to me.
I'd be down. Can I run to the
restroom or wherever?
Well, no, I got to fill up my water real quick.
My man is dehydrated.
I'll BRB here.
I'll read some supers. Tony says if they lose to a fat mustache until they win. I don't know if you're a mustache guy.
Only guy.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
I'm not either. I need to
I don't have the Mike Vrabel look in me.
No, no Vrabel look over here, but appreciate the super chat, Tony, as Harry's taking a quick break to get rehydrated. And we've got Tony Romo coming in. Says, I don't know, Jim. I think Green Bay gets the W. Get the FGBs down below for Tony Romo. Should be doing some game prep, Tony. Come on. Making outrageous statements like this. And then I think afterwards, we got Kevin Harlan. Unlike you, I can call both games. Sure. Kevin Harlan over Romo. Confirmed. Cornelius, DC will steal Doyle to play calls or to call plays next year. Excuse me. Just had a moment there. I mean, Declan's going to be very interesting. We did a segment, I want to say a couple weeks ago, where Pelissero mentioned Doyle as a guy that could be potentially poached from the Chicago Bears this offseason. I'm very interested to see what the interest around Doyle is, because obviously he doesn't call plays for the Bears. It's Ben Johnson. But, if he does become somebody that teams are trying to inquire about, I guess, DC would make sense. I'm not sure, what their coaching staff's going to look like off the top of my head, but be interesting. Would be interesting. We got Goofy. How impactful would it be if AB started to pop? I'm assuming Bear down there. Let's see, Colin. Ben Cam Chancellor, to answer your question. I've seen that in the chat a couple times. Shout out to Nunu. Bears fan, Nunu. The real Marshall Green. That's funny. The real Marshall Green in the chat. Bears are overrated. And didn't even spell it correctly. Didn't even spell Marshall's name correctly. Shout out. How impactful would it be if AB started to pop? We got some commentators, super chat.
What do we got here?
We've got Tony Romo and Kevin Harlan chiming in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tony, watch more film. You're not the broadcast.
Ben, I love Marshawn Lynch, but yeah, Cam Chancellor's my guy. I don't know, Jim. Here, I'll get you back on so you can read all these. We appreciate that, Ziganji. I don't know, Jim.
I don't know, Jim.
I don't know. And then Kevin Harlan immediately follows up with, unlike you, I can call both games.
Harlan's goated, man.
Yeah.
Harlan's goated.
We also, this one from Cornelius says DC will steal Doyle to call plays next year.
Are they firing Cliff, or is he getting a head job?
Yeah, I don't know.
Feels like they're going to run that back. They're going to just be like, well, Jaden missed most of the year.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that team is under a lot of pressure next season.
They are.
A lot of pressure.
No doubt about it. They also we had Goofy. How impactful would it be if AB started to pop?
AB.
I was trying to think of that as you were coming
Austin Booker,
Austin Booker.
I assume.
Yeah.
Oh, huge. You need someone. Look, Montez Sweat is having a good year, but like he's not a Myles Garrett or a Micah or Max Crosby. Like you need someone else to help. Doesn't have to be the same guy every week. It can be Javon Dexter one week. It can be Austin Booker. I do think Grady Jarrett's been pretty good recently. You need more contributions from these other guys. Booker, the first couple games back, popped. In the last couple, he's kind of been invisible, I would say. So, Yeah, we'll see what he can do this week.
got-
Honestly, Tryon Shoyinka's been better the last couple weeks than
Yeah.
Austin Booker. I will say, though, Booker did make that one play where he shedded that blocker and stuffed Saquon. That was a good play
Yes.
for a TFL. So that was good. But as a pass rusher, he has not popped the last couple weeks. So, Marshall Green, Bears are overrated. Well, hey, I'd rather be overrated in 9-3 than bad, and I understand your question. So
Shout out to Marshall Green with an extra E on the end, at least in his username, and then also
I assume this
misspelling
isn't the
overrated.
Marshall Green.
Oh, well, and he also spelled overrated wrong.
Oh, 2 words?
Yeah. Come on now.
Come on, Marshy.
Get back to
Slash
work, Marshy.
Whoever it is. Ghosty, why does 6% of the chat think Team Waste Management is going to win FGB? Maybe there's a few people that honestly feel that way. Maybe there's some Packers fans infiltrating the chat. But we'll find out starting at 3:25 on Sunday. Cornelius, Dan Campbell. Do we know what this is in?
He tweeted. Oh, he says Dan Campbell will steal Doyle to call plays next year. He's saying instead of DC, like. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
That's actually kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have a new OC next year, I would imagine. Unless Dan just wants to keep calling plays and they just keep John Morton as a non-play calling OC. But I don't think Dan wants to call plays. I think he feels like he's had to do this.
Right, because he's just been unsatisfied with whatever's going on in Detroit.
That's an interesting thought, though, Cornelius.
Very interesting.
I doubt it, but you never know. And if you're Declan Doyle, it'd be a hell of an opportunity to go call plays for the Lions. I hope that doesn't happen, but that's an interesting thought. Logan, where does Harrison's beard rank amongst the players currently on the roster? Top 3?
Ooh, so if you were on the
Caleb's got a solid beard. I get Ryan Fitzpatrick comps sometimes. I'd say his is probably a tick better groomed than me. But he's got those prime video professionals. I mean, come on.
Eric, this is just, he wakes up and he's
just
the beard.
Just there. I'm trying to think.
Just wakes up.
Who else has a good
on the Bears
beard?
Jonah, I feel like has decent
Jonah Jackson and Darnell. They're twins. I mean, it's crazy how alike they look. Is Montez rocking a beard this year? Let's see.
Someone says Hightower ?
Dude, he's got a good one. He's got the gray coming in too. It's a good look. He was at the podium today. I was like, that's a good looking beard right there. Montez has a decent one. Who else we got? Pulling up the roster.
Someone says Joe Thuney.
Yeah, his is fine. His is okay. TJ's got a decent one.
Augie says Eric Bieniemy.
Bieniemy's got a good one. It's a good call.
Someone says Swift.
Swift has a good one. Is Cole Kmet rocking one right now? At times, he's got a good one.
Emiliano says Torrey Taylor. I don't know if Torrey Taylor even has a beard.
Yeah, I don't either, actually. Okay. Oh, we could claim top 3. Why not? Why not?
Now we got Joe Buck. That was a disgusting act by Randy Moss.
There's no way this is the same account changing his info. No way.
No way.
All right. Where are we caught up here?
I believe so.
All right. Got 2 more segments here. We, of course, will continue to answer some super chats as the show goes on. But let's go ahead and hop into our next segment here as what do we got? Rooting guide coming up?
Little rooting guide.
All right, Week 14 rooting guide for the Chicago Bears. It's coming up next. Week 14 is here, and we are taking a look at a Bears rooting guide as the Bears are obviously the number 1 seed in the NFC heading into this weekend's games. Obviously, Bears-Packers is our sole focus or our primary focus, but we'll be scoreboard watching as well, and we'll take a look at some other games on the slate for Sunday and Monday and who we should be cheering for in those matchups. Obviously, this is how the playoff picture sits right now. It's pretty simple for the Bears this week. If they win again, they will stay at the number 1 seed. If they lose, they will fall to the 7 seed because the 49ers are off. Both teams would have 9-4 records, and Chicago would fall to the 7 seed, while San Francisco would jump up to the 6. All right, let's get into the Bears rooting guide. Let's start with the team we're rooting for the most. That is the Chicago Bears as they head up to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers this Sunday. Packers have held firm most of the week, 6.5-point favorites as we're filming this late in the week. Over-under sitting at 44.5. Temperatures in the low mid-teens at best. I would guess the wind chill in single digits, maybe even negative by the time the sun goes down. Obviously, priority number 1 this weekend is handling business, beating the Packers. We've talked about it all week. The pressure is more on Green Bay because Green Bay next week has to go to Denver. The Bears return home to face Cleveland. Nothing is guaranteed in the NFL. Myles Garrett is capable of wrecking a game, but if you can find a way to win this game and go home and beat the Browns, that basically makes that Denver game a must-win for the Packers to stay in the division race. So you got a huge opportunity here to apply pressure on the Packers here this Sunday. If you want the Bears to beat the Packers, it is Packers Hate Week. Get the FGBs rolling down in the comment section below. F Green Bay, you know the drill. Let's make it happen. All right, let's dive into some other matchups for this week as we go through our Bears rooting guide. The Seahawks at the Falcons. Producer Cullen's not going to like me on this one, but he understands from a Bears perspective. Seahawks at Falcons. Obviously, we're rooting for a Falcons win. Why? Because the Falcons are not in the mix. So any team that's playing an NFC contender, you're rooting for the other team, whether it's an AFC team or whether it's a non-competitive NFC team. It is a road game for Seattle, so you never know. Feels like the energy is sucked out of Atlanta after not being able to beat the freaking Jets last week. But, you know, their pass rush has been pretty good. Does Sam Darnold get a little sped up? Is Seattle caught looking ahead to the Rams in a couple of weeks? Who knows? I wouldn't bet on it, but we're obviously big Falcons fans this weekend because it could affect seeding for division winners if Seattle and the Bears were to win their divisions, or the wild card seeding as well if the Bears end up in the wild card mix. All right, we'll take a look at some other games coming up here in just a moment. But first, we got to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor. That is Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy at prizepicks.com/CLNS. It's the holiday season, the best time of year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes, hockey games. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which games to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right. That is Prize Picks. New feature alert on Prize Picks. Early payouts are available. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, now you may have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. The way you play Prize Picks is simple. You choose 2 or more players, regardless of sport, and take more or less on the stat projections available. Passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, fantasy score, points, rebounds, assists in basketball, goals and assists in hockey, and soccer. It's all out there. Check it out today. 2-player lineup for me this upcoming week. DeAndre Swift, I'm taking more than half a touchdown rushing or receiving. That's a demon play. Those are tougher to hit, increases the payout. I took less on Jordan Love's 212.5 passing yards. Why? Because it's going to be really freaking cold. So $20 to win 80 on this 2-player lineup. Check it out today. Download the PrizePicks app. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, Saints at Buccaneers. The Saints suck. The Bucs, are in the mix for division, potentially wild card. This one's lower leverage, but we still want the Saints to win. And why is that? Because if there's a scenario where you run into the NFC South champion, I'd rather that team be Carolina. I'll take my chances with Bryce Young and the Panthers over Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. And by the way, Mike Evans is getting back and healthy. If Baker gets more healthy, Bucky Irving is back. The Bucs could be getting some key pieces back. I just think they have a much higher ceiling as a team. And there is a world where the Bears could be like the 5 seed and have to travel to play the 4 seed, which would be the Bucs or the Panthers. Again, I'd much rather go to Carolina than Tampa Bay. So we are big Saints fans on Sunday in that NFC South matchup. Okay, a couple more here. Rams at Cardinals. So NFC West game. Arizona is just kind of off the rails at this point, but I do still think they're a capable football team. Road divisional games are never gimmies. We said it a minute ago. Are the Rams looking ahead to Detroit next week? Seattle in a couple weeks? The only reason I doubt that is because the Rams did just lose on the road to Carolina, so you would think this would be a get-right game. But Jacoby Brissett's had some good games. Maybe he can catch a heater. They're playing at home. You never know. Clearly, we would love Arizona to win this game. I'm not expecting that. You already caught a break with the Panthers beating the Rams last week, but clearly if Arizona wins, that's a good thing for Chicago. Subscribe and join us this Sunday. Bears-Packers live watch party at 2 o'clock Central as we're heading to Lambeau Field. We being the Bears will be here in studio, obviously. Live at 2 o'clock. That's almost an hour and a half pregame show, getting you guys ready for kickoff. A lot of cool things for this watch party as well. You're not going to want to miss it. Be sure to join us on Sunday. Okay, lastly, we got the Eagles at the Chargers, and some news coming in, by the way. Jalen Carter not going to play in this game. Sounds like Justin Herbert will, so that's kind of a double whammy against Philadelphia. The Eagles have been struggling. They really struggled against the Bears last week. Now they have a cross-country flight to play a Chargers team. Both teams 8-4, big game for both. Not only are we rooting for a Chargers win, I kind of like a Chargers win in this spot. If Justin Herbert can be mostly functional with that left wrist injury he has, he had a surgery on it this past week or earlier in the week, then I like the Chargers in this spot. I just do not like how the Eagles are vibing right now. And if the Eagles were to lose this game, they're in trouble not only in their division and they're basically out of the mix to get the number 1 seed, but Dallas could be closing in and could overtake them entirely. So definitely rooting for the Chargers. I think it would basically eliminate the Eagles from being in the mix to get the number 1 seed. So there you have it, our Bears Week 14 rooting guide as we're looking for, obviously, Chicago to beat Green Bay on Sunday. We would love Atlanta to upset Seattle. We would love I'm an idiot. We want the Saints to beat Tampa. That's a typo on my part. You guys know the drill. We talked through it. Rams at Cardinals. We want Arizona to win. And then the Eagles at the Chargers. We would love the Chargers to win. Shout out Cullen with the correction there with the Saints win on that one. Let's be honest, the Bucs are winning. That's why we probably typed it that way. But that's what we're rooting for here on Sunday. All right, fill in the blank. When it's all said and done, the Bears will end up with the number blank seed in the NFC. Got to make the playoffs first. So hopefully they can do that. But, man, the fact that we're talking about the 1 seed is a possibility, pretty freaking cool. All right, guys, that's going to do it for Chicago Bears now. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to this episode. More to come on a daily basis here. Updates, injury news, game previews, and a whole lot more. So do not miss out. Subscribe today. And as always, bear down. Obviously, we got this part of the rooting guide as well. Cullen Brown, Cowboys at Lions, Thursday Night Football tonight. You know, you can make arguments for both sides, but I still think you would like Detroit to kind of just be out of the mix in the division race. You know, if they lose tonight, they're not dead in the playoff picture, but it would take something miraculous for them to win the division. So I think we're Dallas fans tonight, even though they could be a dangerous team come playoff time. I still think Detroit could be as well. I would rather have the Cowboys win this game.
Yeah, just, multiple reasons, obviously, that you mentioned. And I think it's a realistic possibility in terms of Cowboys-Lions. I mean, we were talking about it in the office earlier. No Amon-Ra St. Brown, no Sam Laporta for Detroit. And Dallas has been on a bit of a heater. They've beaten both teams that were in this past Super Bowl in the past 2 weeks. They're on fire, man. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, the whole passing offense. Brian Schottenheimer, in terms of being an unknown, I remember talking about this with you before the season started. Not sure what he was going to bring to the table. He's been one of the better offensive minds in all of
football.
Been
a great play caller. I think he's also handled a lot of situations well. I mean, the Micah drama, he seemed to handle that well. This Marshawn Nealon situation for a first-year head coach.
Not easy.
Like, that's hard on anyone, much less a first-year head coach. I think they've kind of rallied the troops behind that situation. There seems to be kind of an emotional edge to Dallas right now. Having a guy like Dak Prescott, too, as just a pulse of the locker room leader, I think has helped that situation. But yeah, I mean, I think they're playing really well. I like their chances tonight. I know it's on the road, but this is kind of a loser leaves town game. Dallas, and if Dallas wins tonight, Colin, and Philly loses on Monday night, NFC East all of a sudden, I mean, it's nip and tuck at that point. It could be either team's division. So, yeah, I think, if Detroit loses tonight, that's their 6th loss. The Bears and Packers each have 3. I think barring something surprising, it's a two-team division at that point in the NFC North. Detroit would be, really just playing for a wild card spot.
No doubt about it.
Cullen Graham, look at that. When you say you're shaving your beard, do you mean a trim or completely off? You always have had a beard. Trim. I'm not going full clean shaven. It's just not me. Not me.
I'll go full clean.
I will one day, but it would be a relatively heavy trim. I mean, we got a lot going on here. But, yeah, we're not going to go full clean shaven. At least not during the season. If they win the Super Bowl, I might.
I wouldn't know what to do if you went full clean shaven.
I'll say this, whenever it happens, no one's going to see it coming. I'm
No.
just going to show up and it's going to be gone. So,
yeah, it'll be something. Moz Tanker, mock draft win, ? Our defensive line needs that juice. Well, it's funny that you bring that up because we are going to do a Dane Brugler mock draft reaction here in a couple minutes. So stay tuned for that. But in terms of like an actual mock draft, I don't think we've got anything on the docket in terms of, Harry, firing up the old PFF simulator and then
at this point, I probably won't do a Bears 7-rounder until the season's over. How about this? I'll make a deal. If the Bears get the 1 seed during the bye week, I'll do a mock. Like during the wild card week, if they're the 1 seed. Otherwise, I won't do one until the season's over. So.
Monra looks like he could go tonight. Jeremy Fowler
he's going to push the play. I mean, this could be your season.
Could be.
So if he can give it a go, even if he can only play like a pitch count, I mean, I think if nothing else, that would give Detroit an emotional lift. Just like, he's gutting it out type deal. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm watching the video. Again, nothing's confirmed if he's playing or not.
He's warming up. I'm guessing he's going through a pregame workout, and they'll make a decision whether or not he's active. I'm about to react to Dane Brugler's mock, though, Moz Tanker, so we'll dissect that a little bit. Buck Melanoma, do you think Monungai in danger of missing games, or is this limited practice just a precaution? Is he essential, or can any running back get 100 yards to the SO line? Well, I don't think any running back. Guys, his yards after contact has been fantastic. I also think he's what's that stat in EPA per run? I think he's like 7th in the NFL or something like that.
He's really efficient.
He's been really efficient. He drives defenders back. I think he's been a really good back. I think he's fine. DNP yesterday was out there today. He will play. They're managing him. He's also coming off a game where he had a lot of touches. So, running back's one of those positions, Colin. You get later into the season, like, you don't want to over-practice these guys. I mean, they take so much contact during the season. Like, I have no problem managing their workloads. Ryan Hamlin, if we move on from DJ, we trade him for Jordan Addison and O'Donnell.
He meant to say Odunze. He said in the super chat saying autocorrect.
I don't think either team would do that, to be honest. I don't think the Bears would want to face DJ twice a year, and I don't think the Vikings would trade a younger receiver to Chicago. So I don't see that. And I wouldn't want that to happen for what it's worth. So, nope. Don't think that's a possibility whatsoever. All right. Appreciate the super chats. If there's any left over after this last segment, we will hop into it. But Dane Brugler, maybe my favorite draft analyst in the game. I think he does a great job for The Athletic. He dropped his first mock and had an interesting pick for the Bears. So we will dive into it here on Chicago Bears Now. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. Dane Brugler of The Athletic, who I think might be the best NFL draft analyst in the game, does a fantastic job. Released his first 2026 NFL mock draft, and thought I'd react here. I thought the Bears got a pretty good steal in this mock. with the player that Dane had the Bears taking. So thought I would spend 10 or 15 minutes on it here. Right now, the way I see the Bears' needs heading into the offseason, and this is subject to change based on how certain players at certain positions finish this year, what players get re-signed, etc. I think edge rusher's a clear top need. I'd put left tackle 2 still with an asterisk. Ozzie Trapillo has shown some good things. If he can continue to progress, he could certainly hold down that position for next year. That's certainly on the table. I'd put safety only because as of now, your top 5 safeties, including C.J. Gardner-Johnson, if you want to throw them into that group, are all free agents. So until they bring some of those guys back or replace them elsewhere, that's got to be a top need. I'll throw defensive tackle in there, and then running back is kind of a distant one right now. I think if Swift and Monungai finish the year the way they've been playing, I actually think you're at a pretty good spot. And it's kind of like edge rusher than everything else right now, which is kind of crazy to say. Roster's actually in pretty decent shape how they've been playing this year. Okay, what do you think is the biggest need heading into 2026? I think it's clearly edge. Montez Sweat's almost 30. You got Dio Adengbo, who's off an Achilles. We'll kind of break down that position later on here, but I think it's pretty clearly edge. I don't think there's a close second right now, unless Ozzie just struggles down the stretch and it's like, you probably need a left tackle. All right, in this mock draft, I think the Bears get a pretty big steal. TJ Parker, the edge rusher out of Clemson, 31st overall, because that's where the Bears would be picking today based on record, which that's crazy in itself to think about. But he lands with Chicago late in the first round. And if you remember, he was a projected top 10 pick coming into this college football season and didn't have a great year. I still think he's had a good year for Clemson, but their season kind of fell apart. And, sometimes you wonder with the high-level draft pick, you're losing. Does that impact how you play? It certainly doesn't help. Dane Brugler had this to say when he was breaking down this pick for Chicago. He said, after leaning offense early in last year's draft, the Bears' goal with the 2026 class should be building depth on the defensive side of the ball, including the pass rush off the edge. Parker is at his best with the runway, where he can use his strong hands and long levers to break down the balance of blockers. 3-year starter at Clemson, including all the way back as a freshman when he had 5.5 sacks and 12.5 TFLs. His best year was last year. He was fantastic. Graded out well, was productive, 11 sacks, 19.5 TFLs. That's why coming into this year, he's considered a top 5, top 10 pick. And this year, the sack production and the I'll call it splash plays production just hasn't been as good as it was last year. 5 sacks, 9.5 TFLs. He was still good this year. If you look at some of the advanced numbers, which we will in a second, he still graded out well. He's a good player, but he just wasn't as dynamic and dominant as he was in 2024. But you're still talking about a 3-year player at a big-time program, especially on the defensive side of the ball. There's a lot to like here with TJ Parker, especially with his upside if you're able to get him late in the first round. Subscribe to the channel. We're bringing you the latest news, rumors, game coverage, plus a whole lot more. We're obviously focused in season primarily right now, but the offseason's around the corner. We'll crank up our draft content once the Bear season ends, free agency, etc. But I thought this was a good enough topic to hit it now. If you want more draft content, let us know in the chat and in the comments section. Okay, TJ Parker, you look at his PFF grades this year, still good, right? 83 overall, 77 as a pass rusher, 81 defending the run. Pass rush win rate still over 15%. That's a good number. Run stop rate at 7.6%. That's in the upper tier among his peers in college football. So, I don't want you to look at the raw sack numbers and be like, this guy had a bad year. He was still good. He just wasn't maybe as dominant, didn't finish as many plays as he did a year ago. Dane Brugler on his top 50 big board recently wrote this about Parker too. I think he had him in the 20s somewhere. He said, after combining for 32 tackles for loss and 16.5 sacks over his first 2 years, Parker hasn't filled up the stat sheet the same way this season. At the time, it was 2 sacks, 6 TFLs, but he finished strong, ended up with 5 sacks and 9 TFLs on a disappointing Clemson defense, but he uses his size and length, we know Dennis Allen likes those two things, to force his way into the pocket. I really like the upside here. Again, not an ideal final season at Clemson. I guess he could go back. He's technically just a junior, but you get this guy late in the first round. He was a consensus top 10 pick through 2 years. That would be great value. especially if the Bears are picking in the mid-late 20s or early 30s. I mean, 32 would be fantastic. But I think he fits the mold of what Dennis Allen's looking for, and it's just your top need. So I think there'd be a lot to like about this pick. More about TJ Parker in a second, but it is Packers Hate Week, which perfect time to tell you guys about our brand new FGB gear. If you're watching live, Cullen's got the link in the live chat as well, chatsports.com/FGB. You can go directly to the shirt or to the hoodie, chatsports.com/FGB hoodie for the hoodie, chatsports.com/FGB shirt. But if you're kind of driving around thinking about later, what was that link? We'll just keep it simple, chatsports.com/FGB, get you to the homepage, and you can click and shop from there. Awesome gear. We're increasing our merch, and hopefully you guys buy so we can do more and expand even more. So holiday season, great gift for yourself, your friends, your loved ones, Bears fans out there. If you want to troll your Packers fans and send this to them, you should do so, chatsports.com/FGB. Okay, edge rushers taken before Parker in this mock draft from Dane Brugler. Arvell Reese, kind of the edge linebacker hybrid, went third overall to the Saints out of Ohio State. Auburn's Keldrick Falk went to the Titans in a trade down, number 5 overall. Ruben Bain out of Miami went to the Commanders at 6. Texas Tech's David Bailey went 8 to the Cardinals, and then Cassius Howell, kind of the speed rusher out of Texas A&M, went 25th overall. I like Howell and Bailey overall, probably a tick more than TJ Parker based on this season, but I do think Parker fits the Dennis Allen mold better. He's probably better against the run. He's a bigger edge rusher. He's listed at 6'3", 265. Those guys are more in like the 250 range. He is big enough for Dennis Allen. I expect him to have 32.5, 33-plus inch arms, which we know they want long-arm defensive linemen, especially in this scheme. And I just look across this roster and across this defense, the biggest need for me moving forward is clearly edge rusher. You know, Montez Sweat's having a nice bounce-back year, but, like, he's never going to be Micah Parsons. That's just not who he is. Good player, but, like, he's not some dominant player where he can just carry the load. Austin Booker still developing. We're hoping he can continue to ascend. And then you have a lot of guys who aren't under contract after this year, right? I mean, this is kind of the outlook right now for 2026. Montez Sweat, sure, Dio Adengbo, but when's he going to come back? How's he going to play coming off that Achilles? I don't know. Austin Booker, Shamar Turner, who they kind of moved to edge. I have an asterisk next to him and Adengbo because they both have defensive tackle flex as well. They could kick inside some next year, which I would expect would be the case in some situations. Dominic Robinson, free agent. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, free agent. Maybe you pick one of those guys to come back and be like your 4th or 5th edge rusher. Daniel Hardy, he's more of a special teamer. So you don't have a ton of depth on paper heading into next year, and you don't really have a lot of those high-end guys. Sweat's a really good player, not a dominant player. Odengbo, you're hoping he comes back and is serviceable, but off the Achilles, there's no guarantee there. The bottom line is, right now and moving forward, on your team, you don't have enough good pass rushers. That includes your interior guys, too. I mean, Grady Jarrett's getting older. Javon Dexter will be entering the final year of his contract. Andrew Billings is a free agent. So defensive line, starting with edge. I mean, you're 25th in sacks this year, and a lot of that is Dennis Allen dialing up pressure. I mean, only 12 sacks from your edge group, and Montez Sweat has either 7 or 7.5 of those. It's just not enough. I mean, you need more production off the edge. The elite defenses in this league have at least one big-time edge rusher, if not multiple good ones. The Bears have one good edge rusher and not a single elite one, and certainly not a lot of good ones. They have just some okay rotation players. So I think it's by far the biggest need. Even if left tackle emerges as a need, the rest of your offensive line is so good. You can get by with that, or you can add a guy on day 2 to kind of compete with the Ozzie Trapillos of the world, depending on how he finishes. But I'm trying to get a big-time pass rusher this offseason. I think TJ Parker late in the first round would be pretty good if they don't, trade their pick or something like that. But this would be kind of a home run, I think. What do you guys think? Grade the pick of TJ Parker to the Bears in this Dane Brugler NFL mock draft, A, B, C, D, or F. I mean, we'll see how the draft process goes. My opinion could certainly change. But sitting here in December, if that scenario played out, you get him in the 20s or early 30s, I think it's an A pick. I mean, this guy has huge upside, was viewed as a top 10 pick. Didn't have his best year, but has a lot of skins on the wall playing at Clemson the last 3 seasons. All right, that's going to do it for Chicago Bears Now. Appreciate everybody for making it to the end of the video. The focus is on Sunday. FGB, let's beat the Packers. We're bringing you content every single day, so go ahead and subscribe and bear down. All right, Tyler Villa, appreciate the 5. A win puts the Bears in the driver's seat. Vegas disrespecting the Bears. I think we have a good chance to win. Allen is going to force Love into turnovers. Yeah, we'll see. Jordan Love's done a better job not turning the football over this year, but the Bears lead the NFL in takeaways with 26, so something's got to give there. I still think Jordan Love's the type of quarterback, Cullen, where he's going to give you at least one chance. You got to take advantage when he does. Got to take advantage when he puts the ball in harm's way.
No doubt. And even during Toyotathon, he is willing to kind of throw it all over the lot and sometimes the other team. So a couple things happened during that segment. One, Amon-Ra St. Brown gave Jeremy Fowler the old thumbs up. Looks like he's going to go tonight for Detroit. So
wow.
Something
okay.
to note in there. Josina Anderson also just in some NFL general news. According to a league source, at least one team was prepared to fire their head coach and had the team lost last week, and another with multiple high-level people with positions deeply in peril. The carousel season isn't getting started. It's already heated, with league sources already mapping out impending change. These teams do not wait until the last minute. Viable head coaching candidates already knowing who they are.
At least one team would have fired their coach had they lost last week. I'm going to go ahead and look back at the schedule last week, who that could have been. Bengals and Zach Taylor? That's a possibility, maybe. I'll throw, let's see. Wouldn't be D'Amico, obviously. Dolphins and Mike McDaniel if they lost to the Saints?
Maybe.
Even though they've said he's going to coach the rest of the year.
Josina's pretty accurate on this coaching.
She's good with the coaching search stuff. She had 5 of the 7 hires last year. Wouldn't be the Vikings. Well, they did lose. Wouldn't be Seattle. Tomlin did lose. Had McDermott lost, they wouldn't fire him mid-year, though, right?
You wouldn't think.
I wouldn't think so.
No.
Obviously not the Commanders they won, not Vrabel. Zach Taylor?
I think it could have been.
Maybe it's one of those, hey, we have to win tonight to somewhat stay alive. Burrow's back. If you lose, we're just kind of officially parting ways here.
Well, they had shut him down maybe and just fired Taylor and just said whatever.
Shut it down for the year. It's him or McDaniel.
Yeah, it's one of those two.
If that report's accurate, it had to be one of those two.
Interesting.
Wouldn't be Aaron Glenn year 1, I don't think.
No. I don't think so.
I do wonder if Raheem Morris is in this discussion. They lost, so that doesn't fit the bill of that first part of that report. But, yeah, I think
it is official.
This is
effective. And Penei Sewell.
This is going to be an interesting carousel, Colin, because the last 2 cycles have had at least one really good candidate. You had Jim Harbaugh a couple of years ago. Chargers were able to get him last year, Vrabel and Ben Johnson. I don't know who the top guy is this year. Like, especially from an offensive standpoint, like, I guess Clint Kubiak, but, like, you're going to hire Clint Kubiak if you're the Giants? That feels like, I mean, that's a big job, man. I could see, like, the Titans going that route.
I think the Titans,
I don't think John Mara is hiring Clint Kubiak.
I don't think so either. I will say this. I don't think that'd be the right move for the Titans either. I get Kubiak's obviously a really good offensive mind. To me, Tennessee needs a grown-up in the building. Like,
a program builder, someone who's done it.
Yeah, somebody who knows what they're doing. And listen, obviously you got to hire the right OC to pair with Cam Ward, but I don't know. Yeah, is it a Chris Shula? I mean,
Schefter said keep an eye on Marcus Freeman. If they don't make the playoff, I wonder if that becomes more of a possibility because he'll be freed up. You know, they'll be in some bowl game, but, like, who cares?
It's also the second year in a row that Freeman's name has come up in these.
Bears were interested last year.
Yep.
Once they made, once Ben was on board, that ended. But had Ben gone elsewhere or stayed in Detroit, I think he would have been in play had he been interested. So now he did just get the number 4 recruiting class. It's rolling at Notre Dame. I don't think he would leave just because. Like, it would cost a lot of money, but I would not be shocked if he made the jump to the NFL at some point.
Wow.
Pete Carroll soon? Do they just fire him? Does he step down? You almost feel bad. I mean, that's been ugly, dude. whatever the worst case scenario was, I think it's been worse than that.
When you think of just, Pete Carroll's career in general, obviously didn't work out with the Jets, didn't work out with the Patriots. He had success, obviously, at USC, winning big there. And then, obviously, in Seattle, he won. In Las Vegas, just hasn't been the same. He's obviously one of the greatest coaches ever in terms of he's won in both sports, college and pros, but this is truly like going outside.
A couple of things are at play here. One, that Raiders job is really difficult, man, because you have a fan base that is just starving for success. They will fire you, and I'm not directing this at Mitch specifically, but like they've been so bad for so long. If it's ugly early, they'll want change.
Yep.
Mark Davis is kind of an impulsive guy, and I think it's a combination of that. The Raiders' job is difficult. It's not a good roster, and I think Pete's he's lost his fastball, man. His defense is expired. Did you hear some of those reports about, like, Chip Kelly wasn't even running his offense because Pete wanted him doing certain stuff? I don't know what's true and what's not there, but, like, clearly one thing we do know about Pete, he is kind of a control freak. Like, yes. I don't think he likes delegating, especially when they're losing.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to control everything. And, like, at that age, you can't be controlling everything. Like, you got to trust your coordinators.
It also just makes sense because Pete and Chip, they have different contrasting styles. I mean, Chip's more of a spread it out, kind of get everything involved, and Pete's kind of more old school ground and pound, ball control, let his defense win the game. So
his offense has kind of become more pro style over the years, but it is still a lot of shotgun. And, I don't know. It's just... That's been a mess. I don't think he's going to be back next year.
No Jadeveon Clowney for the Cowboys tonight, by the way.
Wow, so the Lions get a couple key players active and Clowney's out. Okay. All right. Go Dallas, go. We'll see if they can pull it off. Jackson, I've watched 493 Bears Now videos this year. Favorite channel by far. Keep it up. We appreciate it, Jackson.
Love that.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate the love, the support. I've heard from several people that we've popped up on their like YouTube year-end, whatever they're calling that, deals. Little wrapped. Didn't Spotify start that a few years ago, and this is just kind of a copycat, but yeah, good stuff. All right, we're going to get out of here. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. We'll probably do at least one video tomorrow. I am packing this weekend because we're getting ready for a move, but try to hop on the mic and rip a video because, you got this injury situation going on. So we'll see what's going on with TJ and with Rome and the Packers guys as well. So stay tuned. We also have a Bears-Packers joint preview that's going to go out at some point, probably tomorrow morning. So be on the lookout for that as well. My name is Harrison Graham. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys soon. Bear down.